Hi, Blastpop here. Today I'm looking at the newest edition of the Great Battles of the American Civil War. The title itself is called by Swords and Bayonets, includes the battles of Big Bethel, Mill Springs, New Bern, and Second Rappahannock Station. The series is designed by Richard Berg, and the game design of the four battles in the series is Alan Dickerson. These four battles are small battles, and it's four of them. So, in some sense, it is reminiscent of the old SPI quadri games from back in the 70s and 80s. These are small, compact games with limited number of pieces and limited action. So, the theory is that this series of games, will give you an opportunity to learn the system in a simple format and allow you to expand your knowledge in the games to maybe tackle some of the more complex ones on Gettysburg or Shiloh or Stones River, by way of example. Included is one of the nuclear survivable boxes that GMT is famous for, nice and solid. And the back indicates that the game is reasonably solitaire suitable, and 50 men per strength point, or one cannon per strength point, 140 yards to a hex, and each game turn is about an hour. This system derives its heritage from the original Terrible Swiss Sword by Richard Berg back around 1976, something I have played extensively in years past, and then subsequently Stonewall, the Battle of Kernstown, and then SPI did games on Shiloh, and then eventually formed it into the Great Battles of the American Civil War series, which included Pea Ridge, Wilson's Creek, and several others along the way. A good series. Then the series was reimagined by Berg back in the 90s, I believe, with a re-edition of Gettysburg, and it's been evolving ever since. The simplicity of the original series was great. This system, while owing its heritage to Terrible Swiss Sword and its follow-on games, was off-putting. It was off-putting to me. I played around with it a little bit, and have played some of the small battles included in the Valley Campaign game series, which it's maybe like a dozen battles that are small. But this one is designed to have a limited number of pieces in the box, easier to find the number of pieces that you need, set them up, play them, compact, and it even includes a specialized example booklet. Enough of that, though, to what's included. Interestingly, GMT includes a counter tray, which is convenient and keep you organized. Nice. Also included are two 10-sided dice, a blue and a gray, oddly enough. You got the 2024 edition of the series rules, which weighs in at 44 pages. And it is quite meaty and dense. While not terribly difficult per se, putting it all together and doing a reasonably good job of playing it properly can be a bit of challenging. I mean, there's examples of play in there, and it's typical stuff you expect in a rule book. Movement combat, fire combat, melee combat, artillery fire. You have pre-shock resolution, which sounds a little bit like the great campaigns of ancient history. But anyway, and then you have rules for advance after combat, and your a section just on the combat results in the game. And while a 2-column, there's a lot of information going on here. And GMT realizes that, So consequently, they came out with collected examples of play. Now this here shows the game, in this case here, Big Bethel playthrough, how to you do your initial setup, turn one, movement examples, combat of various types, rallying, approach fire, artillery fire, and continues on to turn 2 for Big Bethel. And just showing you what's going on. And what's nice is the illustrations allow you as a player to take those pieces and put them on the map. And if you find a tactile example, moving the pieces yourself, that could prove helpful too. And there's not too many pieces to have to follow on to understand. And rules for efficiency, more rally examples, and it and then other examples of play for things that they want to illustrate a little bit more. And this comes in at 32 pages. Very nice. Something that's definitely needed in the series, and will act as a person teaching you the game, which is really nice because the system can be kind of challenging, and your interpretation may not be the right interpretation. So that's all good. Get you playing quicker, sooner, and properly. Then you have a battle book, which includes the 4 battles. It includes the scenarios, the setup information. It's got the general rules for the specific rules for the 4 battles in the box. And the big change here is that there's no army or corps leaders, so the operations of these battles occurs more likely at the brigade level. So there's rules for that. And then you got the individual special rules and setup. And Big Bethel, it might be the easier one to get into, because looking at some of the other games in the box, there are a fair number of special rules, so that kind of is my one ding against it. And so, you know, nothing that you can't handle, but it's just an added complication. And then, you know, it goes on into New Bern. And there's some setups. So fairly standard wargame stuff. And then finally, you've got some designer's notes by Alan Dickerson and some credits. Also included in the box are terrain effects charts for each of the games. Each map has the illustration, so you can help identify what the terrain is on the map as well as on the player aid cards. And then appearing to be identical is the second disorder table on the reverse side of each one of the terrain effects charts. Each battle also gets, for each player, not only a turn record track, but holding boxes, victory point tracks, and the CSA and the USA each get one for each of the battles. Fairly common within the series. Then you have the standard player aid card, and it's anything from your rally table, loose cannon, brigade coordination, range effects, fire table, eligibility, stacking limitations, all your handy dandy stuff that you need to play. You get 2 of those. There's 2 counter sheets, the first of which is the units for each side. So that, you know, for 4 battles there isn't a lot of forces here, and by my reckoning you won't see the same units on different maps based on the time frames and where the battles were located, to my best estimation. And you even have a counter for a drunk. You don't see that too much in a wargame. And then on the back side, you've got the disordered side of the counters. And then up here, you'll notice the leaders, your actual combat units, artillery, color-coded. Confederate units are butternut. The USA are lightish blue. And then you have game system markers from strength points to collapse, to fatigue, to attack, victory points, turns. In the back, they're the brown core, reasonably thick, and nicely registered as well. Now we have the 4 maps. They're 22 by 17, and this first map is the Battle of Mill Springs. Nicely done with a brown look to it and a darkened earth tone, and very nice, very small. Fits nicely into small game space. And then we have the Battle of Big Bethel. On the second of 2 maps, and again they're back printed, is the Battle of New Bern. And you got the Neuse River, if that's how it's pronounced, a barrier, interesting abatis. So they're small, limited actions, and they look like they potentially could be completed reasonably quick for the complexity of the system. And the battle's second Rappahannock Station. All very nicely done. Tastefully done. I believe it's Charlie Kibler maps, so right there, there's quality. So that's what you get. You get the 2 maps, 2 counter sheets, 2 player aid cards, set of battle records, terrain effects charts, battle book, examples of play, which is excellent, and the series rule book. An impressive package. Definitely worth some play. Please comment, like, and subscribe. This has been Blastpop. Bye.